Have you ever gotten exactly what you hoped for from an Airbnb experience? We visited a cottage in the woods of Arkansas, and it was everything we wanted.
You're listening to Travel FOMO, a podcast for people self-diagnosed with wanderlust.
Welcome to the Travel FOMO podcast. My name is Jamin and I'm here with my wife and the maybe most sentimental traveler of all time, Hilarie.
Totally. If it's not sentimental to me when I start booking, by the time I'm done, I am full of warm, fuzzy feelings. For sure. So this is a bonus episode that you're getting today, and it is a little outside of what we normally do. So you're normally hearing about our gap year adventures, but today we are talking about something that happened more recently. And this is just a little bonus episode that we're throwing out to you between seasons. And today we are taking you to Siloam Springs, Arkansas.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We got to go in the fall, which was a great time of year to go.
Yeah.
If you haven't explored Northwest Arkansas, it's a really, really cool part of the country that I think a lot of people don't know about necessarily.
Yeah.
So if you like outdoor stuff, there's tons of stuff there to do. We actually went to Siloam Springs, which is right on the border of Oklahoma and Arkansas. They have a really cool sort of downtown area with shops and ice cream parlors and breweries and little places to eat. We actually ate at a pizza place called Fratelli's. It was really good pizza.
I'm so sad that we missed out on some of those ice cream shops you just mentioned. I'm like, that's right.
We were there when they were closed. Every time we came to downtown, they were closed.
That's funny.
But we should have just planned that a little better. But we got to hear some live music and sit outside and have a couple beers the night that we were there. And there's this little river that kind of runs through the downtown.
Yeah.
There's a university there, John Brown University. It's just a really cool little city that you've probably never heard of. Mm-hmm. But if you went, you'd really like it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's home to a new whitewater park called the WOKA Whitewater Park. It stands for, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like the Waters of Oklahoma and Arkansas. That's what that stands for, WOKA. And it's a $33 million project of an outdoor space along the Illinois River. And it was made possible by the Walton Family Foundation. It was a huge contributor there. And then also they did that in partnership with the Grand River Dam Authority and the city of Siloam Springs. And so they're offering like river surfing and kayak surfing, stand-up paddleboarding. They've got some tubing you can do there, but all on this whitewater natural river space, which I've also heard of them doing that like in Bend, Oregon and some other places. Mm-hmm. But this is like kind of unique. I think that's really cool because it's this mix of like adventure that they've put into the natural space that's already there. Very cool. Yeah,
it was really interesting to go down. We didn't get to kayak, but we did get to go kind of walk around and explore it a little bit. And they've got this area where kayakers can go really sort of practice their whitewater kayaking. We saw a bunch of people out there doing that. I remember the day we were there was like a little group of people and they were helping each other learn how to like flip their kayaks back over once you get upside down. And it was
I was so worried for them.
It was just really interesting to see. And all of that sort of ties in with big biking trails and like hundreds of miles of trails and stuff. And I don't think it's all connected yet, but that's the goal, is that it will all connect. And so you can go on these mountain biking trails or just road bike, and just a lot of really cool stuff to do and see in an area that's not far from a lot, but I think is really kind of unexplored.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And it's also home to a lot of my family, which is so sweet. So that's kind of how we found out about it. And particularly my Aunt Gwen. So she is my dad's sister. And she lives there along with quite a few of her 7 kids, huge family. Mm-hmm. So she's got grandkids there, maybe even some great grandkids that are there at this point, I think. And her son-in-law, Todd, he helped her refurbish an old cabin in the woods. I say cabin, cottage might be a better word. But it is adorable.
Yeah.
And we got to go check it out for a weekend.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And you can go there yourself on Airbnb or VRBO.
Yeah.
Aunt Gwen has it for this purpose to share it with other people.
And she calls it's even I think you can search for it by her name. It's called Gwen's Nest.
Oh yes,
is the actual name
right.
of the property, which is really fun.
Yeah, so if you want to stay there, there'll be links and stuff, but you can just search Gwen's Nest and find it. It's so cool. It was originally built in 1904, so it's 120 years old.
So old. That's crazy.
Is really sort of amazing. It's tucked away in this sort of wooded area. There's the Lake Francis Preserve, and it's really kind of unique because I think it's all protected land now, so other people can't build there.
Yeah.
So the homes that are sort of in this preserve, I think it's 830 acres or something like that. Those are the only ones that can be there.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's sort of isolated off by itself, and it's really kind of makes it this peaceful retreat. And it's a double level cottage, like you said. It's 2-bedroom, 2-bath with the bedrooms are sort of downstairs, and the main level of the cabin has a really nice living area, super cool kitchen. There's a bathroom up there with a clawfoot tub that looks out over the woods. There's a couple of decks, one on the level with the bedrooms and one on the main level. Just really, really cool. There's, all the things that you would want from a cabin are right there.
Yeah.
And even with a porch swing that had sentimental value for you.
I know. Oh my goodness. It was so sweet. They have this, one of the 2 decks that they have outside that's screened in, has this huge 16-foot bar top where people can sit at. And then there's a rocking chair. And then there's this precious porch swing. And we literally arrived, and we hadn't seen my aunt yet, so we hadn't talked to her. But we walk in and we're like, oh, we love seeing, an Airbnb for the first time.
Yeah.
And so we were checking the place out, and I go onto that back porch, and I was like, there's this swing. That's so sweet because, growing up, my grandpa and grandma on the Fight family side, they had a porch swing, and it was really special, and they sat out there a lot. The kids would swing on it. I can't tell you how many times I've been on a porch swing like that. And so I just thought it was really sweet that Aunt Gwen had incorporated something like that into her home. Fast forward, and she's actually talking to us about everything in the house. And I find out that is not just a porch swing, but it is the porch swing that my grandparents had on their porch. So extra special.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. And you know what? What's really interesting, I just realized you and I have bought homes, 2 different homes. Our only 2 homes we've bought actually have had porch swings on the front.
Yeah, we've had front porch swings both times.
And every time I've thought oh, this is great. I love this. And thought of Grandpa and Grandma. So that's super sweet.
That's really cool.
It's the porch swing that inspired our homes. I love that. I can't believe I just thought of that. That's really cool.
Well, and it was just a really cool place to stay, so in the woods. And there's even a little camper trailer that if you need extra space, you can rent that out as well. But you also have all the things that you want to have, all the modern amenities. It was really hot when we were there, and the air conditioner worked great. Mm-hmm. So you're super comfortable. You've got Wi-Fi. There's a fire pit outside that you can sit by. There's a grill, an oven, a stove. So all of the things that you're not roughing it out there.
Yeah.
It's the perfect setup where you're out in the woods, but you have all the stuff that you still want.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And, one of the things that I loved is just her style. She's always had this really good eye for how to decorate. And so she basically remodeled this to make it look like it belongs in like a Magnolia Farms magazine.
Right.
Joanna Gaines would be really proud.
Yeah.
And it's just really country chic, I think is what we decided we would call it. But it's got these rustic kind of Pottery Barn vibes. And you mentioned that crawfish tub. I mean, that is like when you walk in, you're in this entryway and there's a bathroom off of this entryway, and it is this nice big bathroom with all of this natural light, windows on all sides of it, and this huge white crawfish tub. And it looks pretty spa day to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, I love that. And then she's got this huge stone fireplace that I just think is super special, especially because we ended up walking around a little bit, and there are actual fireplaces just like her stone fireplace. There are fireplaces like that around in the forest where homes used to be, and the fireplace still remains.
Yeah, like in that Lake Francis area, evidently there used to be a lot of other cabins, and they're all gone now except for these fireplaces.
That's really cool.
And I feel like those old stone fireplaces in those cabins like that, like they reminded me a lot of the ones we saw in the Smokies. But it's such a like center point or like anchor of those old cabins, I feel like. And this one definitely, like, it just invites you to be like, you want to sit here in front of this fireplace.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely dominates. It's beautiful. And yet at the same time, they've remodeled it so that it's a very open floor plan. So you still have the option of like being in the kitchen and enjoying this huge fireplace where everyone is all gathered, So I think that's really appealing and harder to get in a 1904 home.
Right. Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Very true. Well, and I think the way they have it set up and everything that they've included in it just kind of speaks to your Aunt Gwen and her personality and what a sort of ultimate host that she is.
Yeah, definitely. She's like always, I kind of mentioned she has always had a passion for seeing these older properties refurbished and helping them maintain their charm at the same time, which is really important to her, that it still feel original. And so, and I think people get that, right? Like people understand, like there is value in that. And it's also really meaningful for her that it is her home and she's opening it up to strangers and she wants it to feel like a home.
Yeah.
And that definitely comes across. And, we asked her while we were there, we actually did a video of this, like with all of our podcast episodes, we put out a video. And so if you go out on YouTube, you can see the video and we interview her. And so you can see Aunt Gwen of Gwen's Nest and kind of meet her yourself. But we asked her what she wants people to feel whenever they come and stay there. And she really just wants people to feel a sense of peace.
Yeah.
Like she wants it to be a place where they can come and get whatever it is that they need or whatever it is that they're looking for, but they have the peace to get it. And she even prays over her guests. It's she is a godly woman, a spiritual woman, and she does, she really takes it. She puts a lot of thought into every person that shows up. So I will say I definitely felt that. So it was super special. And she spent so much time with us. We talked so much. It was such a important weekend for me. Just getting to speak with her and have really profound conversations with her. And so that was really special. But yeah, she is a great host, huh?
She really is. I mean, she has such a heart for her guests and kind of like what you were saying. I remember she told us a story of one guest that kept, I guess, like texting her and asking if they had a waffle iron, if there was a waffle iron in the Airbnb, and she didn't have one. But she really wanted to accommodate this guest. And one day when she was out shopping, she saw one that she liked and ended up getting it so that this guest could have it. And later on, she found out that this particular person was coming in to visit her son. So her and her husband were coming to visit her son that goes to school there in Siloam Springs. And I think he was a freshman. He'd been away for a while, and waffles were his favorite food.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to make it a meaningful weekend where he got to sort of feel that sense of home.
Yeah.
And it meant a lot to them. And corporations and things like that don't see that and can't care about that. Whereas an individual and someone with a heart for people like your Aunt Gwen does. And
Yeah.
it sort of sets her and people like her who host people in a different category, I feel like.
Totally. Absolutely. Yeah, it is the difference between home sharing rentals versus like staying in a hotel or at a resort or something.
Yeah.
They're going to do the best that they can to personalize it, but it could never really be the same.
Right. And she even said herself, like, she renovated that cabin for her to live in it. And she was, and she thought to herself after she'd been there for a while and people would come to visit and talk about how amazing it was to be there with her, that she was like, I need to share this with more people. And that's what led her to the place where she wanted to turn it into a short-term rental and put it on Airbnb and VRBO so that people could experience that little bit of what she gets to experience.
Yeah. Someone like her goes above and beyond for their guests, and it definitely comes across.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's one of the things that you really hope for when you stay in an Airbnb. And I think the original concept, when Airbnb first started, that was the idea of you're financially helping a person by giving them money for a place to stay rather than giving it to a big hotel conglomerate. And in return, you're getting this personal experience that comes with so much more than a hotel where if you wake up in the room, you're like, I could be in any city right now because all these hotels are the same. And you get that more nuance, which is why we have stayed in so many rental properties as opposed to hotels when we travel.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you and I were talking about it right before we started recording about how all the things that we like and about, home sharing rentals. And I mean, we talked about like, you can have a better location. This may be closer to what you want or is further away from everyone else.
Right.
You can definitely have more space because in a lot of instances, you're in a home. You can have a kitchen. It feels more like a home. There's more privacy. It's an effortless check-in. Let's talk about that because even with her cabin, like she makes sure that like you can just have a keyless entry. You've got the information before you arrive. Like you don't have to meet up with her or anything like that.
Right.
I'm telling you, it's faster than even hotels for sure.
Yeah.
100%. And we actually talk about that sometimes. We're like, we don't want to, we got to go check in at the hotel. So I love the effortless check-ins and the charm. And then just the idea that you're supporting a local person.
Yeah.
Supporting the locals.
Well, and I feel like too, if you're, you've come to a place for a reason. And if you're staying where people actually stay and live, you get to experience it on a much different level. And I think even this, like if you were coming to Northwest Arkansas to, bike the trails or do kayaking or do a hike or something like that, you could stay in a hotel and do those things, but your experience would be limited to the time that you were out on those trails and doing those things.
Yeah.
Where if you stay in a cabin in the woods, your experience is for that entire time. And the same if you're exploring a big city or something like that, like being in a hotel, you're sort of removing yourself from that experience for a while.
Versus fully immersing yourself in it.
Whereas if you're staying in a neighborhood, you're in it the whole time. And it just makes it much more full and rich of an experience. And a lot of times you can actually save a little money And the money that you are spending is hopefully going to somebody like Aunt Gwen.
Yeah.
And that's really special too, and a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. And if you guys would like to stay in Gwen's nest, you can check out the description for links. She's got it on Airbnb and on Vrbo. And yeah, it's out there for other people to take advantage of. And I have to say, I am super proud of the video that went out on this. Jamin edited this one, and he just did such a nice job and captured Aunt Gwen's heart so well. And I think you'll really see that in the video. So anyway, I just have to give a little plug for it and just ask that you guys go out, check out that YouTube video. The link is in the description as always. And it's really just always meant to be a companion to our podcast. But in this instance, it is the heart of everything is going and seeing this video. So
yeah, Aunt Gwen was super nice to sit down with us for a little while and talk about her place and how it kind of all got started, and tell us a few stories about it. And I think if you go out and watch it, I think you'll really enjoy getting to meet her and hearing from her a little bit. It was a lot of fun and really special.
Yeah. And while you're there, go ahead and click subscribe and the little bell to notify yourself whenever more videos come out.
And leave us a comment or two.
Yes, we love comments. Oh, I that is the most excited that I get whenever somebody comments on our YouTube videos. It means a lot to me. And so I just love hearing people's reaction to everything. So yeah.
And if you feel like it, go watch the Oxford video and comment on all the things we got wrong, because that's people's favorite.
The Oxford video, Oxford, England. That's funny.
Like every comment on that video was about something that we misspoke on.
That's funny. There's also the Cotswolds, England video. And that one, oh my goodness, so many people commented on it and have watched it. It's insane.
There's a lot of actually good information in the comments on that video.
Yes, totally recommend reading the comments on that one.
If you're going to hike around the Cotswolds, go watch that video. But as you watch it, just read all the comments. It'll help you out a lot.
It'll help you out more than the video.
For sure.
It's so funny because just so many people watch that video specifically. But that one is funny to me because it's all English people. A lot of the time it's a lot of English people watching that video. So I don't know how that happened, but so it's trending somewhere in England.
But hopefully you are having a great holiday season and getting to travel and spend some time with family.
Yeah.
And hopefully you are able to do that in a way that brings a little light to everybody around you.
Yes, for sure. And you guys will hear from us again at the start of the new year. Sometime in January, we'll kick things back up and start our new season, which is called The Middle of Nowhere. So we are taking our Airstream. We'll continue our adventures on Gap Year and take the Airstream to places like Joshua Tree,
go to the
Vegas.
Grand Canyon. Or we do not go to the Grand Canyon.
The Grand Canyon. No, we don't.
No, we do.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we do. We do go to the Grand Canyon. But you'll be interested to know that tragedy strikes almost immediately. So go.
That's true.
So make sure that you're subscribed and be ready for that, because in January it's going to hit hard.
Oh yeah, it does not. The Middle of Nowhere starts out in the middle of nowhere and in the middle of chaos. So yeah, that's so fun. Okay. And if you are not already, you can follow us on social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and of course YouTube. So go out there, check us out as Travel FOMO Podcast. And we also have an email out there if you want to reach out to us.
Yeah, you can hit us up at travelfomopodcast@gmail.com. If you have questions or comments, if there's any way that we can help you enjoy your next trip, reach out to us and we'd be happy to do anything that we can.
Absolutely. And life is short, guys.
Wonder well.